And through the training process of our mind, and then we can accomplish all the good things of the temporary, and good things for the absolutely. And specifically, when we follow up the Buddha's teachings, it is very important to look at our own individual mind. And the most important is the mind. Beside the mind, almost there is nothing important. Because if there is no mind, which kind of is important? If there is no our mind, then there is nothing maybe existence. When we are calling the outer world, sentient beings, we call the you and me, they. All this thing is recognized or the created or the have notion by the mind. If there is no mind, maybe there is no exist name of the outer world, sentient beings, or happy, sorrow, maybe it's nothing to the existence. And therefore, all the kind of the receiver of happy, sorrow, good, not good, or everything is the object of the receiver things are by the, it's like inputting of the minds. And one is mind existence, and then is that according the mind is feeling, then mind is label or the input, and this is the yellow, this is the red, this is samsara, this is nirvana. And therefore it is very important to look at our minds. If we correct our own individual mind, then everything is there is corrections or the kind of changing process into the positive things. Therefore, and how many years we study the Dharma, how many years we are meditate, how many years we are reflect on Dharma, how many years we are kind of meditative concentration on the Dharmas, and everything depends how is we can to receive benefit in our minds. Maybe we studied 84,000 of the teachings, but doesn't affect in our mind. Then the teaching of the Buddha, the 84,000 teachings, is useless. It's nothing for us to do. And also maybe it's reflect on the meaning of the 84,000, maybe 20, 30 years. If this our mind doesn't affect, the mind doesn't change, nothing at all, then why we need to spend a long time, why we need to reflect on the Dharma? I think it's just making the tiring. And also we can just meditate on the meaning of the Dharma, maybe 100 years in the solitude place. But this meditations doesn't make something different in our mind, or is our mind there's nothing kind of benefit. Mind nothing receive benefit from this meditation of the Dharma. Then the meditations is useless. Meditations, studies, these things just to make a delusion our mind. In the one Patrul Rinpoche's book, it says that maybe some practitioners, you practice some your own individual deities, and you go to in the solitude place and take per day 4 sessions. And also you are practicing generation stage and dissolution stage, but you are not enhanced by your attitude of the compassion, and you do not understand the crucial point of the dharmas. Maybe there's your tutor or meditating on the deities. Maybe it's making the cause of the rebirth, Mara, demon, ghost. And also it's just maybe it's making the delusion of the samsaras. Therefore, I think it is the most important, and for ourselves is to look at again and again, to look at the mind, to tame our mind, and also we need to concord from the wild or the crazy minds. And also it is like a tame to our mind, is to become victorious from this our mind of the crazy elephant and this wild horse of the mind or the monkey mind. That is the most important, and we need to fathom our own mind, and each moment when we study the Dharma and how is it going on, and a little bit to understand about our own situations. For example, and this, according to this text, is a marvelous text, how we can to tame our mind, and is telling to us fantastically, like a kind of the magnificent way. It is like to telling to us how to tame our minds. And in the middle of the virtues text, and there are the kind of three aspects. First is the preliminary aspect, and the preliminary the aspect already we are mentioned every day's human existence, impermanent, and causalities, and also the defects of the samsaras. It is the necessary to think again and again, and it is because it's like our mind is if we don't to think about in our mind is not related to them, or in the mind is if we haven't got notion of these four reminders, and then to practice Dharma or follow up the Bodhisattva's practice, it is sometimes become very funny. Sometimes like a kind of the show off, or sometimes it's like kind of hypocritical practitioners, and looking for the worldly kind of the successful things, and it's not really become the Dharma practitioners. And that perspective, we need to take care ourselves. How we can to take care ourselves? We need to take care our minds, not body speech. Because it's the mind itself, the root of these three things. Because body, speech, mind is the branch of the mind. And the three things of the body, speech, mind, the principle or the most important is the mind. Therefore, the Jimelingpa says, if mind is become the virtues, body, speech, mind is the virtues. If mind is the non-virtues, body, speech, mind is become automatically non-virtues. And therefore, mind is become the samsaric sentient beings, body's verb is automatically. Mind is being enlightenment, a body, speech is already enlightenment. And therefore, we need to look again and again our minds, and how is it like a kind of to changing process that. And particularly, we need to remind each other to think about these four reminders. For example, this summer, and I was in St. Petersburg, and St. Petersburg, our programs, every year we studied each chapter of the word of my perfect teacher. And this year is like 12 years we studied. And someone is really like a kind of crime, and we did something concrete things. And also it's like through this study, someone's really, they never made mistake, have missed this course. And every year sometimes 2 weeks, 10 days, and of course we try our best to study. Of course my explanation is horrible, but students are very kind. They put a lot of effort and they study very well, and also like same as our systems, they like exam and they memorize. Then this year is we finish the 12th chapter, The word of my perfect teacher, it has like a principally there is 3 chapters, and the outer preliminary chapter has 6 chapters, And in the preliminary, the extraordinary preliminary, it has 6 chapters. Together it's 12 chapters. And we studied 12 years each. Every year is like, then is people so happy. I was very much happy. I appreciate that very much. Sometimes it's like we're looking for the supernatural power, and something is like looking for the like power, strength, and the positions, titles. And also like Russian is often I'm going to there. Russian is like almost at my like home. And I have there a lot of families, but some Russian Buddhist practitioners, they all the time constantly Dzogchen, Mahamudra. And they say it's like I studied 25 years Dzogchen. Even they cannot to say the properly of the name of the Dzogchen, they say Dzogchen. But it's like, if you study like Buddha, my perfect teacher, or Bodhisattva Avatar, they say this is bullshit teachings. Why? Because we need to direct the teaching. We need to direct the teaching. Which Dzogchen teachings? Which kind of teaching you need? We need Dzogchen teachings. But it's like some, if you can to look in the internet, some guys like they sending say, oh, I practiced the 25, 30 years of Dzogchen. I follow the Dzogchen masters. I have, my shell is full of the Dzogchen teachings, but my mind is like same as the before. Which kind of the benefit? Which kind of, now the Dzogchen words are just fancy. It's not really, it's effective into our minds. That is like very much like a destroying students' mind, really. And afterwards, like this direct teachings, they kind of study and then basic foundation of the teachings, principle, preliminary aspect, there's when you receive teaching, they hate it, they don't want to study anymore. Because those sometimes students are looking for the quickly to become relaxed, something spaciousness. Or I want to reach this very high level, and then I want to become the Lama. Then I will have a supernatural power. I can to control. I can to make magic. You know, ancient times, I don't want to say that some very powerful persons. He invited many Tibetan Lamas, and he thought is maybe they can make something supernatural power. And he said, please to teach me and your teaching, and please to practice some deities to make the me such a power and very strong. And this kind of deed, but he's in the mind and nothing, something happened. He said this nothing happened, he want to kill. He said, I want to kill all. He killed all of these monks, lamas. And it's like something is like someone is looking for like this, and supernatural power. If I'm become like a Buddha, or if I become have like kind of Kambu or Lama's titles, then I have like a nice throne, and then people sending Kada, say Rinpoche or Lama, and then it's very nice. You know, there is one our Western Lama, he says like when he sits on the throne, it's just quite very nice to sit there. Also some Tibetan Lamas like say that. But this is not very good, you know. First time, it doesn't matter teacher or students to fathom their own individual like minds, where it is, how much is like kind of related to the Dharma. That is the most important. It is maybe it's like the enlightened man said. Sometimes it's like when you study this outer preliminary practice, contemplating under these 4 reminders, maybe through this study, through this reflecting, through these meditations, maybe you will become enlightened man. You don't need to, it's like the main teachings.